Divisional playoff Saturday. The Pats and Steelers both seeking revenge. Will it be the Steelers that find redemption while the Pats relive a 3-week-old nightmare?
And shock the world on 3. 1, 2, 3, shock the world!
The Vikings look to shock the Bay. Can they pull out another comeback on Steve Young and the Niners, who haven't lost at home all season, and hope to lead their rookie coach into Championship Sunday? NFL Primetime, coming up next. Hi there, welcome to the Round of 8 Saturday edition of NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann. Welcome to those of you that have watched the Niners beat the Vikings. We'll have those highlights for you a little bit later on, but now we get to the big boys.
That's right.
Football.
That's correct.
Some stepped up real big, some stepped up kind of big.
Someone out the side door.
Because someone out the side door, that's right. Well, all right, where do we begin? Well, we'll start with last year when New England bounced Pittsburgh from the playoffs 28-3. Now we move to just a few weeks ago when Pittsburgh came from behind, winning in overtime at New England 24-21. So both teams looking for a little redemption, but the difference with that win that they had in Foxborough, talking about Pittsburgh, is that Pittsburgh got to play the game at home. And in a game in which points were a premium, field position was important. The most important field position was Pittsburgh playing at Three Rivers Stadium. And here we go from the confluence. Can Bill Cowher beat the Patriots twice this year? Again, the Patriots, without Curtis Martin, they would lose more offensive stars. First quarter, remembering last year when Bledsoe threw the bomb to Terry Glenn early? Here he goes for the bomb, but Chad Scott makes the pick and makes a big-time return. Scott bobbing, weaving, all the way to the 38-yard line. So, first Steeler possession. Bill Cowher said he would open up the playbook for the Kordell Stewart chapter. And on the first drive he did. We saw everything that Kordell could do. Little pocket passing to former Colorado Buffalo and teammate Charles Johnson, first down. Stewart out of the pocket again to Johnson, first down. 2 plays later on 2nd and 10, here's Kordell. Watch him work outside on the Patriots blitz, which they did all day. Collins kind of stops on the play, and Stewart does not. Tightropes on the sideline, could go all the way, 40-yard touchdown. What a beautiful job on the sidelines, Joe.
Not only does he do an excellent job down the sidelines, Boom, but watch Mark Bruner, the tight end, number 87. Watch this little bit of push at the end that helps him out. Get out of his way. There he goes, down the side. Now he does a real nice job. Hey, Todd Collins, you're supposed to knock him out of bounds, not stop.
And that block on Jimmy Hitchcock, you take another look from a different angle, you can see right there he cleared just enough space for Kordell Stewart to get the sideline.
But the Patriots say that's enough. Watch Willie McGinnis. Well, they were blitzing all day, and the speed of McGinnis and Slade and company, he makes the sack on Stewart. More defense here as Butts. Oh, he's hit by Nolan Harrison trying to hand it off. Jason Gilden recovers somewhat, a quick play.
Yeah, a great job of getting penetration by Nolan Harrison and a great job of finding the football by Jason Gilden.
So, Steelers defense steps up big. But Patriots next possession, Bledsoe to Sean Jefferson. 15 yards, he's moving on up. 2 plays later, Bledsoe to Terry Glenn. Where's the defense? The Steelers fortunate that he had to turn out of bounds, 36 yards. Then, when they get inside the 15, Steeler coverage tightens. They didn't have a big pass rush for a lot of the day, but good coverage, and the Patriots had to settle for a field goal to the chagrin of Pete Carroll. It's now a 7-3 game. Later, second quarter, 3rd and long for the Steelers. Shotgun. Junior Walker and the All-Stars. It's Kordell Stewart, the Yancey Thigpen, 27 yards. 2 plays later, 45 seconds left. Oh, it's Hanukkah. Steve Israel makes the interception of Kordell Stewart. What a good play.
Well, I'm not sure it's Hanukkah, Boom.
I know.
I don't know. Here, let's take a look at it. He doesn't quite have it.
Yeah, but they give it to him, and it's 7-3 at the half. But, Tommy, Jerome Bettis was just stifled all day by the Patriots defense.
Defensive front 7 for the Pats did a great job of scraping around the offensive line, and you could tell by this sequence Dermontti Dawson was not at 100%, and he's the guy who keys that Steeler running game.
25 carries, 67 yards for the Bus, who was celebrating after a lot of 5-yard runs. It was a day that the Patriots did an excellent job on Jerome Bettis. Bledsoe from the shotgun. Terry Glenn. Glenn makes the play, makes a couple of cuts, and he's gone for 40 yards, but he was gone for the day as he got hurt on the play. Injured shoulder, did not return. Same drive now, 4th quarter on 2nd and 12. Bledsoe to Troy Brown on his banner of renown. Was it a catch or not, Joe?
Well, I think we got to go back and look at the Steve Israel one. Was this one a catch? His hands under, but he's lining it up. I don't think so. I don't think so. Doesn't matter. There it is, the field goal.
Patriots go for the field goal. Vinatieri, 46 yards. It's a 7-6 game. Steelers' next possession. Stewart to Charles Johnson. And now this looked like it was a catch, but they ruled it. Boy, the refs had trouble deciding all day on these.
Well, it certainly looks as if Johnson got his hands underneath the football, did a great job of rolling over. But again, the referees waved it off.
Now watch this play by Willie McGinnis right here.
Willie McGinnis, a great job of an open field tackle on Kordell Stewart, and that's as difficult as it gets for a defensive end.
And there's a blitz again. Stewart throws incomplete, and Pete Carroll's team says, hey, we just held them to that touchdown on the first drive. Steelers' next possession. Bettis stopped, but a face mask on Ted Johnson.
Now, you're going to see Teddy Johnson come up. He's going to get the shoulder pads. He's going to get the chin strap. Chris, he's going to get everything but the face mask.
Yeah, the officials, they've had better days. We love them, but they've had better days. Let's just leave it at that. Stewart scampers for a first down. On 3rd and 6, a big play. 3rd and goal from the 7. Bettis down to the 1. Bill Cowher is up 7-6. Tough decision. Did he kick the field goal to go up by 4, or did he go for it, Joe? Do you like his call?
I like the call. Make the Pats. If you don't make it, go a long way. He doesn't make it. Great job by New England in the middle.
You're going to see some great penetration by the inside backers. Teddy Johnson and Brewski are going to come over the top. Just watch them. They time it perfectly. They get Kordell Stewart at the top of his leap, and then the rest of the defense comes and cleans up.
So the Patriots got to go about 70 yards to give Vinatieri a shot for a field goal of about 45 or 47 yards. And Bledsoe in the shadow of his goalpost. Troy Brown on his banner of renown. Sean Jefferson, who was moving on up all day for 12. Then a rare throw to Vincent Ultimate Brisby. Bob Kraft saying, we can do it. 3rd and 1. Bledsoe to the youngster, Derek Fancy Colors. First down. Next play, Bledsoe, close to the 30. To Jefferson. Pittsburgh kind of playing prevent D. Kordell says, hey, let's stop him. Bledsoe, first down to Jefferson, who had 9 catches for a $104 with Glenn out. Coates was ineffective and later left. And, of course, Martin never played Jefferson an offensive star. But on the next play, watch the rookie Mike Vrabel, 96. Swat the ball loose. Jason Gilden for the 2nd time today falls on the fumble. Carroll can't believe it. A big play which just about sealed it. The Steelers have the ball.
Yeah, and you watch that sequence of passes. They were all quick passes, and there Drew Bledsoe just hung on to the football a little too long and didn't feel the backside pressure.
It didn't quite seal it, but this was going to be 70 or 80 yards in about 16, 17 seconds. And he shall be a Levon Kirkland. Picked it off. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't impressive, but it was a win for Bill Cowher and company. 7-6. The Steelers moving to their 3rd AFC Championship game in the last 4 years. The Patriots made a lot of believers, but they couldn't run the football. More on that later. And their leading carrier was Cedric Shaw, 22 yards. What's wrong with this picture? It's the first carries that he had all year. After the game, they talked about the slugfest.
You can go to the Super Bowl and win the game by 1 point, and it could be the ugliest game in America. But when you win, they don't judge you about how it looked. They judge you by winning the game.
New England is a gutsy football team. They played us hard. I thought defensively we played very hard. Made some big plays when we had to.
There is no consolation for this club. You know, it ain't like good effort, you know, way to go. It ain't like that. That's not what our expectations are all about. It's not what we're built on. And, you know, so we got to go start over again.
Well, 7-6, the final theme here, Tommy? The theme in all the playoff games?
Well, I think certainly you see the theme is play rush defense and run the football. And again, that played out in the first game today, 145 yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 36 for the New England Patriots. And whenever you get that kind of disparity in the running game, it gives you a sense of ball control. And even though the Pittsburgh Steelers had trouble throwing the football down the field and maintaining a consistent drive, they basically controlled the game. And it wasn't just Jerome Bettis. A large part of it was Kordell Stewart and his athleticism. And I think he needs to do that more often.
Well, you know, Tommy, not talking about Pittsburgh right away, but talk about just the New England Patriots for 1 second here. Remember, this is a football team that had an entirely new coaching staff changed this particular year. I think they accomplished an awful lot and set a good foundation for the future for this football team. But Pittsburgh on defense is really where I thought they played smart. Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, did a terrific job setting up this defense by saying simply, we're not going to give up the big play. They can't run the football. We know that. They know that. Let's make them nitpick their way down the field, because I'll tell you something, Boom, if you throw the football enough, nothing but bad things can happen. And Pittsburgh just guaranteed that you can't take 12, 14-play drives against us. And that's exactly what happened to him.
Well, Bill Cowher will not be pleased overall, but he's pleased to begin. We have another whole week to talk about them. But I want to reiterate something you started on, Joe. You know, Pete Carroll was under unbelievable pressure this year, but the job, and they changed the defense with him and defensive coordinator Steve Sidwell. The defense they played the last month and a half, they improved defensively from last year's club, in my opinion. So it's not like, oh, we didn't get to the Super Bowl, it's not as good. I think they can hold their heads up pretty high, and they got something to work on. But the Patriots are going home, and the Steelers are moving on. Now, you're wondering, gee, 7-6. We go inside the numbers. Pretty low-scoring game, especially when the Steelers couldn't bang home the second touchdown. Well, since they started the Super Bowls, is this about the lowest-scoring game? Third lowest. Only 1970. 5-0. That's right, a field goal and a safety. The Cowboys beat the Lions. Remember that game, Landry and Munson played quarterback for the Lions. The title game in 79, when the Rams kicked only field goals by Corral to beat the Bucs. It's the third lowest game scoring in the playoffs since we started the Super Bowl, the end of the 66 season.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com.
When we roll on, it was offense and it was some defense for the 49ers. Nothing could be finer than to be a 49er in the playoff run, at least in this round.
I will not accept.
To you by Janus No Load Mutual Funds.
You like us today, you'll love us tomorrow. NFL Countdown at noon Eastern. NFL Primetime at 7:30 as we dissect the pair of games on Sunday. When we return, Steve Young, Brent Jones, a couple of old hands on the Niners dissecting the Vikings. Highlights from the stick. Just a jiffy.
Sports.
We can make helmets fly here in NFL primetime. Well, Minnesota Vikings, a miracle comeback last week. They just got themselves together at the end of the regular season to get in the playoffs. Dennis Green gets his first playoff win. San Francisco 49ers, where they clinched home field in October. They were ready, but Steve Mariucci had never been a head coach in a playoff game. Was it time for him to get his first win? Here we go to the Baghdad by the Bay. Candlestick, I have to call it 3.com Park. At any rate, it's an rainbow going as a pot of gold for Steve Young and the Niners. Even though Jerry Rice on the sidelines, Garrison Hearst hopeful to play next week. Terry Kirby had that look this week in practice, and he had that look on the field. Very early, a 20-yard game and a flag on the Vikes. And then Steve Young, he's just smart, Joe, and he feels the pressure.
He feels pressure. Here he almost gets sacked by Randall. He moves around. Now, this is a lefty going to the right and still manages to turn and throw the ball far enough to get an incompletion, not a grounding penalty.
First Vikings possession for Randall Cunningham against Roy Barker and the Niners defense, and Barker says, howdy, and it's a sack and a loss of 10. 3 plays later, Vikings punting. Mitch Hamburger needs some helper. It's a 12-yard punt. And George Stewart, the always photographed and always vociferous special teams coach, very happy because when you give the Niners the ball at the 26-yard line, you know what's going to happen. Young rolls left, finds one of his good buddies and longtime teammate Brent Jones, possibly playing his last game if the Niners don't win, upended at the 5. Torian Gray makes the hit.
Yeah, but the entire San Francisco receiving corps today was willing to take a lick in order to catch the football.
Brent specifically, he got hurt later in the game. William Floyd, bar none. It's the first touchdown of the game, 7-0 San Francisco. Next Vikings possession, Cunningham. Tell you what, they go for the home run, don't they? Minnesota, it's like Harmon Killebrew trying to hit home runs. They either connect or they don't. And Cris Carter, all he does?
Touchdown.
We're tied at 7. Why was he so open, Tom?
Well, the corner Marquez Pope is playing a double zone. He's assuming that he has help deep. Now you take a look at the safety, Merton Hanks. He read what he thought was screen, took 3 steps up. That's all it took to let the receiver get deep.
The Vikings unravel in the second quarter. Young looking for J.J. Stokes. Torian Gray is flagged for interference. Hey, Stokes had a good game. Referee Bob McElwee says there it is. An unsportsmanlike conduct for Dwayne Rudd because he kicked the flag. And so, from the 1, Young looking for Jones. Corey Fuller tries to make the pick. But look at Jones get the hand in there. But Dixon Edwards called for holding. So, next play first to go from the 1. Terry Kirby, touchdown, 14-7 San Francisco. 61 yards for the Niners. 31 yards helped by the Vikings. Vikes try to answer. Cunningham, pressured. Norton! It's Ken Norton! He could go all the way. 23 yards, and then it's a left to the face and a right to the jaw. I think they're down, Tom. They're down. I think they're down, Tom. What happened here? Oh, this is the view from the goalpost. Randall off the back foot, Joe, not a good thing.
No, not a very good thing at all. I mean, it's darn lucky that it hit the ground and it wasn't picked off again.
Here he's struggling, needing a first down. Randall scrambling. This is what he can do. But the Niners stop him short of the first down. It's a third down play. And on that play, Tommy, Jake Reed didn't see him.
You're going to take a look at Jake Reed going down the right sideline. Again, you can see the corner turned him over to a safety who wasn't close enough to pick him up. Jake Reed wide open. Randall Cunningham never saw him.
All right, so here we go. Second half, 21-7 at the half. 3rd and 3, false start Vikes. 3rd and 8, Tom.
False start Vikes.
3rd and 13, Joe.
False start Vikes? Why not?
Meanwhile, the 49ers look a little different. 4th and 1 at the 40. The fake. Oh, they're going to throw for it and play action. And it's Young to Brent Jones, 16 yards, setting up a Gary Anderson field goal. 24-7 San Francisco. Vikes, though, down 17. Robert Smith, almost non-existent in the first half, runs 18 yards. First rushing first down of the game for Minnesota. What's wrong with that? It's midway through the third quarter. Harmon Killebrew swinging for the fences. It's Jake Reed, 53 yards, which sets up 3rd and goal from the 3. Randall to Cris Carter, all he does?
Catch touchdown.
And, you know, he almost got 3 feet in on this play,
Exactly,
Tom.
Chris. As you take another look at it, you can see right there he has control. There's 1-2, and that would have been his 3rd foot in.
Yeah, no problem. It's 24-14. Terry Kirby. Big game for Kirby, 100-yard day. Gains 22 yards. Same drive. J.J. Stokes was impressive. Terrell Owens. Look at this play. He makes Joe to dance into the end zone, and then Steve Young and Terrell Owens.
Work on it. Steve mesmerizes
Steve's head's not moving.
Young to pass to Brent Jones. Popped by Robert Griffith. The clean hit on Brent Jones. Received stitches in his tongue. Brent, a good talker. That won't hold him back. It's a tough shot. He's taken him over the years, and he comes right on back. Didn't play in this game. Terry Kirby back in the end zone at 120 yards, career high, putting the finishing touches on the Niners win. The Vikings scored late, had a chance to get it even closer, but it was all over. And the 49ers over the Vikings 38-22. Steve Young, 21 of 30 for 224 yards. So repeating what he did a few weeks ago, so efficient against the Minnesota Vikings. Kirby had 120 yards rushing and a pair of touchdowns. Stokes caught 9 for 101, but the defense weighed in. And here's our Chris Mortensen with Kenny Norton.
It was Ken Norton's 2nd quarter interception return for a touchdown that gave the 49ers the lead for good. Ken, replay that moment for us.
I tell you, first I'm going to give all the glory to God. He made it possible. But I tell you, it was a waggle play. I was all over the tight end. I couldn't believe he threw it. Tim McDonald did a great job putting some pressure on Randall Cunningham. Threw it right in my hands and took it right in.
You gave the goalpost a workout.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while. I tell you, I was waiting to get back there. I just wanted to bring down the goalpost. It wouldn't go down, though.
Even though the Buccaneers-Packers have to play the game, do you want the Packers for that NFC title shot?
It would be nice. We lost to the Packers 3 times, and we lost to the Bucs at the beginning of the year. So either way, it's a little revenge factor for us. We're just glad to be in the game.
All right, Boomer, back to you in the studio.
Howard Moore, thank you, and the fans very happy on the Bay Area as well. They should be. And you know what? They're very happy in what they saw in the 49ers offense. I know Minnesota's the 29th ranked defense. Young, obviously very slick. Those young receivers stepped up. Terry Kirby stepped up. Brent Jones, some big plays. very efficient. It's like they've been there before.
I think the word efficient is really what's applicable here, Chris. If you look at San Francisco on offense, they're a very high percentage passing football team. As a matter of fact, Steve Young in the 2 games against the Vikings, somewhere over 80% pass completion. That's efficiency. Randall Cunningham on the other side, he told me last week when we did the Giants game, hey, Joe, I don't throw for completion percentage. I try and make the big plays. Well, today, the big plays came up a lot short to the more methodical type of offense.
Yeah, and great work by San Francisco on both sides of the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. Control the tempo of the running game. Terry Kirby gave them what they needed in order to make Steve Young effective in play-action pass, and then Dana Stubblefield and Bryant Young, an outstanding job as that tandem stopped the run.
Yeah, Robert Smith not a factor. As a matter of fact, to go on what you said earlier, Tommy, 175 to 57, the rushing numbers in the second game, and the Niners are moving on to their 10th championship game since 1981, and their 5th in the 8 years in the 90s. When we return, game balls. Might roll a couple out on D.
Brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the easy way to save.
Steve Young, just one step away now from his 2nd Super Bowl as starter. So efficient throwing and running the football, he gets my game ball.
Speaking of running the football, Terry Kirby finally got to carry the load. They wanted to give him an opportunity to do it. 25 for 120, 2 TDs, Tom.
And speaking of a guy who did a pretty good job of stopping the run, Jason Gilden, 2 tackles, 1 sack, but the 2 big fumble recoveries, big plays in a big game.
And if you'd like to vote on which of all the game balls you like the best, Jason Gilden, Steve Young, Terry Kirby, log on ESPN.com. Is that like 3 Park? I don't know. The results are on SportsCenter later on. I'm still on the entrance ramp on the Information Highway. We'll be back.
Nate Newton for...
Well, those are the helmets for tomorrow's matchup. The biggest Bay of Pigs since Kennedy, Khrushchev, and Castro in 1962. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. That's the early game tomorrow, Joe.
I think, Boomer, the one thing here is Tampa Bay is not awed by the fact that they have to go into Lambeau and play. We did a game there, and it is an unbelievable place to come in if you've never been there. I think Tampa Bay is going to be quite comfortable and give Green Bay everything they can handle and maybe a little bit more.
Even though they've won, 26 in a row at Lambeau Field. All right, AFC game, of course, and our condolences out to Keith Traylor and family. The Bronco defender, mom passed away. He went to Arkansas. We're told he will be at the game tomorrow, but obviously playing with a heavy heart. Denver, Kansas City, this could be the crescendo of the opening round, Tommy.
Well, I think it's going to certainly be a great game. You've got an outstanding young defense in the Kansas City Chiefs. They can really run to the football, and I think that the way the Denver Broncos will attack them is by going right at them with Terrell Davis in that running game. And then you have the oddity at quarterback. You've got a guy who's been there in John Elway, and you got Elvis Gerbach coming back as the starter after that last effort he had, a little bit rusty. I wonder if he's still a little bit rusty.
Plenty more, of course, on NFL Countdown on Sunday at noon Eastern Time. We see anything in San Francisco or Pittsburgh to make you sold on them getting all the way, or?
I'm a little concerned about San Francisco's corners. I didn't think they played real well today. That's the one thing that I'd be curious about against either Tampa or Green Bay.
I agree because I don't think that you can give up that one big play. You know, coaches who are successful in playoffs talk about any one play being able to beat you, and we saw a couple of plays that could have beat the 49ers.
However, they know they will be home next week against the winner of the Packers-Bucks. For Joe Theismann, Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.